Shalom, call halal, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Bahashim Kodash, double honors to the other apostles and with bishops of great millstone, even the others that came before them, taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother / elder Yashawan. Shalom and salutations to you all. This is the World War III Daily Update. This is Joel 3 and 2 in the King James. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted the land. You go up here, the NLT, it gets more specific, right? Okay. We know that the valley of Jehoshaphat is talking about Israel, okay, the land of Israel, or what they call, Greater Israel, whatever they're trying to call it. But the Valley of Jehoshaphat, it's talking about right there in the Middle East, right in the Israeli area. Okay? I will gather who? The armies of the world, including who? Including Iran. Iran strikes first. Strait of Hormuz block as U.S.-Israel tensions explode. Okay? Where are they being drawn? They're being drawn into the valley of Jehoshaphat. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. It's an open-minded thinker 15 hours ago. Take it.
Reports reaching me right now has it that after taking responsibility for boarding an Israeli-bound U.S. commercial ship, the Iranian Navy has escalated the situation.
So Iran, right, is taking matters into their own hands. See, we don't even know what's going on over there unless you're watching that 24/7, because the American media, the Western media ain't reporting on the fact that there's a war going on over there. And them fools ain't really stopped bombing each other since they said that they stopped.
Israeli-bound U.S. commercial ship, the Iranian Navy has escalated the situation with another round of deployment. This time an armada of warships has taken position along the chokehold of the Strait of Hormuz, and there are also credible reports that the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet is moving toward the Persian Gulf.
Moving where? Right? So they're all gathering in that area. And this just goes to show you that whatever is going on that we brought out yesterday, if China has been in Venezuela now for a couple of months, anticipating whatever they say is going on, which is not, right? That's a theater. Okay? You have the Eastern European theater, which is Russia, North Korea fighting against Ukraine and NATO and you know, the European Union for that matter. Tell me that this isn't World War III. Okay, so this theater, back to the theater, the main theater, which is where the genocide is taking place, and the Iranians are doing what? They're doing this at this particular Middle Eastern theater, whatever you want to call it, right? Western Asia.
In what many already fear could be the opening scene of a high-sea confrontation, a war that no one is ready for, but that Washington and Tel Aviv are recklessly provoking.
Nobody's ready for World War III. It seems like everybody's fighting it right now, whether you want to or not.
The United States has so far refused to send an aircraft carrier because it knows that the moment it crosses into range, it could be obliterated by Yemeni drones or Iranian anti-ship missiles. So the limited deployment is just theatrics, a show of force with no real ability to alter the balance of power, because the reality is simple. Iran controls the waterway. The logistics, the geography, and the political momentum and the seizure of this ship proves it. The seized tanker was allegedly carrying petroleum products to Israel, and if this is confirmed, then it marks a stunning collapse in US-Israeli logistical secrecy. since foreign nations should not have known its destination unless Iranian intelligence deeply penetrated their shipping networks. The ship was officially registered as heading to Singapore, yet was reportedly rerouted toward Israeli ports. And now the IRGC Navy's public relations has declared that in line with safeguarding the interests and resources of the Iranian nation, the tanker Talara has been legally seized by IRGC naval forces. This operation is already being twisted by Western propaganda outlets as Iranian aggression. So I urge you to like and share this video widely.
And there you go. They're setting it up for some Gulf of Tonkin type shit. You know how Esau gets down. Oh, there's a lie.
Keep independent journalism alive. Now, speaking of the shadowy Israeli tanker, the rapid reaction units of the IRGC Navy began tracking the vessel immediately after receiving a judicial order mandating its seizure. The ship, commercially named Talara and flying the Marshall Islands flag, was carrying over 30,000 tons of petrochemical products and was intercepted in accordance with Iranian law and international maritime enforcement standards. The IRGC has stated that the operation was carried out as part of its duty to protect the national interests of the Islamic Republic, and that a full inspection is underway to verify the cargo, documentation, and ownership of the vessel. And this development sends a clear warning to Washington and Tel Aviv that in any future conflict, the Strait of Hormuz will not simply be threatened, it will be shut down entirely, and foreign tankers destined for Israeli ports will be seized at will. This also signals that Iran is ready to retaliate against any nation that attempts to capture its own ghost fleet of oil tankers moving across international waters. The timing is also notable because new footage emerging from Russia shows elite Iranian pilots undergoing formal training with Sukhoi Su-35s. Only weeks after Pentagon analysts warned that Iran's defense posture is shifting from defensive to offensive. And another intriguing twist is that the seized ship is reportedly linked to an Israeli business group connected to Azerbaijan.
You get a scripture real quick. And these same scriptures are going to keep coming out. Joel, let's go. Let's get this. Let the weak. Is this not let the weak say I am strong? They're getting better weapons. Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares in the swords and your pruning hooks in the spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. That has to come out right now while this is playing.
This is where the geopolitics gets fascinating. Because during the 12-day war, Ilham Aliyev allowed Israeli warplanes to operate freely in Azeri airspace, which means Iran may now be signaling that it will punish anyone participating in military scheming against it, and that includes the Aliyev family itself, whose financial empire runs through Pasha Holding, a conglomerate with over £11.8 billion in assets and branches in Turkey, Georgia, and Cyprus. If confirmed, this seizure could be the first financial blow in a broader regional retaliation strategy, and Iran is openly saying that operations like this will continue while its nuclear program accelerates.
آمریکا و اسرائیل شلیک شد به میز مذاکرات ایران آمریکا برخورد کرد. ولی از طرف دیگه همین جنگ نشان داد که هیچ راهی جز دیپلماسی وجود نداره. آنچه که مقصود رژیم اسرائیل و آمریکا از این جنگ بود محقق نشد. به هیچ یک از اهدافشون نرسیدن و بلکه با شکستی مواجه شد. اگر هدف اونها از بین بردن برنامه هسته ایران بود، این محقق نشد. من بارها گفتم تأسیسات ممکنه تخریب بشن، تجهیزات ممکنه از بین برن، ولی تکنولوژی از طریق بمباران هوایی از بین نمیره. و از اون مهمتر اراده ملت‌ها از طریق بمباران هوایی از بین نمیره. تأسیسات ما تخریب شده ولی تکنولوژی ما سر جاشه و اراده ما حتی محکم‌تر شد. و اکنون درخواست برای مذاکره مجددا شروع شده و این طبیعی هست، چون به آنچه که هدف داشتن در خصوص برنامه هسته ایران از طریق حمله نظامی نرسیدن. و این حرفی بود که ما بارها میگفتیم که موضوع هسته ایران راه حل نظامی ندارد. این رو امتحان کردن و متوجه شدن که این راه حل درستی نیست. اما برای مذاکره و دیپلماسی یک قاعده وجود داره، یک مبنای وجود داره. اینطور نیست که شما چیزی رو که در جنگ نرسیدی بهش بتونی از طریق مذاکره بهش برسی و بتونی خواسته های خودت رو تحمیل بکنی. اولین قدم در دیپلماسی و در مذاکره این هست که بپذیریم مذاکره با دیکته کردن، با زور گفتن تفاوت داره. در مذاکره داد و ستد مطرح هست، منافع متقابل مطرح هست. اینطور نیست که یک طرف بتونه به هر آنچه که میخواد.
Meanwhile, mainstream Western media is lying through its teeth once again by portraying Iran as the aggressor in this situation, when in reality regional leaders are furious at President Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu.
Very telling the way that man is speaking, measured and calm like that, while these devils scramble. They're scrambling, their time is just dwindling like dwindling.
Whose reckless belligerence turned diplomacy into tinder. Even Oman has openly stated that Israel now poses a far greater threat to peace than Iran ever has.
True security cannot be achieved through policies of isolation, containment, and exclusion. True security requires inclusivity, and history provides ample examples of this. Since the revolution of 1979, Iran has been seen as a threat. It was believed that Iran sought to export its revolution and destabilize its neighbors, and that the best solution would be a policy in which Iran was isolated and contained. In Oman's view, this was never a solution. Since around 1989, we observed that Iran has shown openness to rapprochement with the West and a desire to integrate into a regional status quo. By engaging constructively with its neighbors, Iran could demonstrate that it is not a threat but a committed partner in fostering regional stability and cooperation.
Logically backward, rainfall in Tehran is now at its lowest level in a century, and half the country has gone months without a drop of water, yet Iran is using drones and atmospheric research to survive. In contrast, the West tells us that Israel is the beacon of innovation, but it is Iran, the so-called isolated rogue state, that is pushing scientific resilience and climate technology forward while surviving sanctions and sabotage campaigns. Thank you for staying with me to this point. I sincerely appreciate it.
All right, so I just figured I'd let that go. That's very, very interesting to see, right? What's really going on that they're not going to show us, right? So, let me see. There was a part in there, right, that they went into how Israel ain't running shit. Israel's running scared because who's got the firepower over there?
Tankers moving across international waters. The timing is also notable because new footage emerging from Russia shows elite Iranian pilots undergoing formal training with Sukhoi Su-35s. Only weeks after Pentagon analysts warned that Iran's defense posture is shifting from defensive to offensive, and another intriguing twist is that the seized ship is reportedly linked to an Israeli business group connected to Azerbaijan, and this is where the geopolitics gets fascinating.
Okay, so before the geopolitics, we talk about the strength that Iran is now exuding. Listen to how he speaks of who's dominating the region. See, they're not telling you that Israel got their ass straight kicked, and U.S. had to come in and save them. Otherwise, Iran would have kept going and completely dismantled. So Iran agreed to stop because America got in there. But that thing ain't never really stopped. Just like they said there was a ceasefire and there wasn't. There wasn't a ceasefire over here. These people are still fighting each other.
And it helps keep independent journalism alive.
Listen
Now,
to-
speaking of the shadowy Israeli tanker, the rapid reaction units of the IRGC Navy began tracking the vessel immediately after receiving a judicial order.
Because they're controlling the seas. That's why they have the ability to shut down the strait. And nobody's coming to the rescue with no carrier, because they're not stupid. Okay? Because Iran is out there. They know a simple drone will sink that carrier.
Mandating its seizure, the ship, commercially named Talara and flying the Marshall Islands flag, was carrying over 30,000 tons of petrochemical products and was intercepted in accordance with Iranian law and international maritime enforcement standards.
See, they got their own law. That's their land out there. They got their laws, right? That the small hats then came in and tried to override. No, you're gonna abide by our law. Nigga, we got our own. We got our own waters over here. Come over here again and see if America ain't gonna stop us this time. See, America gonna try to go to their rescue again. This time they're not gonna stop World War III.
GC has stated that the operation was carried out as part of its duty to protect the national interests of the Islamic Republic and that a full inspection is underway to verify the cargo, documentation and ownership of the vessel, and this development sends a clear warning to Washington and Tel Aviv that in any future conflict the Strait of Hormuz will not simply be threatened, it will be shut down entirely and foreign tankers destined for Israeli ports will be seized at will. This also signals that Iran is ready to retaliate against any nation that attempts to capture its own ghost fleet of oil tankers moving across international waters. The timing is also notable because new footage emerging from Russia shows elite Iranian pilots undergoing formal training with Sukhoi Su-35s. Only weeks after Pentagon analysts warned that Iran's defense posture is shifting from defensive to offensive. And another intriguing twist is that the seized ship is reportedly linked to an Israeli business group connected to Azerbaijan, and this is where the geopolitics gets fascinating.
We'll stop it right there again. You know what this means? Do you know what this type of bravado means? This means that they have nukes. Okay? The way that they're moving right now, they have nukes. Not only are they the strength in the region, now somehow in the last, whoever gave them some, they made their own. They have it. They relaxed their little fatwas or whatever they got, right? They relaxed their little laws that say that they can't go nuclear. They did all of that. Now they're out with their chest out, patrolling the waterways and saying what they're going to do. Come over here. And nobody's coming in the area. That's a problem. Go back. Let the weak. Joel 3 and 2. It's lucky. Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords. Sword is a weapon. Right? Make better weapons. A plowshare could be a pruning hook could certainly be a weapon. A plowshare can be a weapon. Okay, a pruning hook can, nigga. All right, make better weapons. Right? A sickle, nigga, is a weapon. Ask the Grim Reaper. All right? Beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hook and the spirits. Let the weak say I'm strong. You tell me that Iran ain't walking around with their chest out saying, nigga, I got a nuke. Fuck with me. More than one. Iran's got nukes, you better believe it. And I can prove it through the scriptures too. Because the Most High told Russia to prepare for them what they need and for those that are attached unto you, paraphrasing. Okay? They need what they need. What do they need? They need some nukes right now. Don't they? They didn't make them themselves, right? In an alternate spot when they were getting bombed. You know they got them now. They're defying everybody straight to their face. So with that, we hope that the elect ratified you, brother Jesus.